Welcome back to Grump's Barn, where today we're going to be finishing off this bloody lawnmower. I've finally got the new bosses. Well, there you can see the blades. Gave them some like cold galv. Yes, they're stop them rusting a little bit longer. They do need sharpening still. That's one little job I've got to do today, but I'm going to put everything together first. Then I shall sharpen those up and chuck them on. So right, let's get on. Right, first thing to do is fit the new bolts, because I'm replacing all of them with stainless bolts. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it. Because I know that it's going to be me that has to take this thing apart in the future if it comes to it. And those other bolts, I say like the roofing bolt things, were pretty knackered. So I'm going to be replacing them, and I'll be using washers as well. The original bolts went in from underneath but weren't washed because they had a flanged head on them, so they didn't need a washer. These need a washer so they push nice and evenly all round. Right, the bolts go in from underneath and the nuts go on top. I'm going to fit those all in loosely and I'll get back to you. Right, the first one is now on and tightened down. And as I said before, loosely is what you do first. You just put the bolts in loosely, one at a time, obviously. Don't tighten them up until you've got all three of them in there. Otherwise you could find you can't get them all in. You sometimes need to move things around a teeny bit just to make everything fit. Right, I'm going to get these other three in and get them tightened down. There we are, that's both of those on now. Now to take this off here and put the tensioner arm back on with its tensioner pulley. Right, you just put the arm. First things first, pulley has to go back on the tensioner arm. This post, the brass looking thing, is just a standoff for it. It sits inside the bearing and it's done up with this nut here. So I shall quickly do that up. And that's a complete bugger to get on and off with this arm on. Then the arm just sits on this arm here, slots over, and then bolts down with a washer, as you can see there, and a nut. Pretty self-explanatory, that one. Well, there we go, that's the blade sharpened up. Just literally run that edge of the side of the grinding wheel until you've taken out as many of the big chunks that have come out of them as possible. And just got a nice flat edge on there. You're not looking for a razor sharp edge on them. It's a lawnmower, not a bloody skinning knife. And you don't do the other side at all. You leave the other side alone. Just do the top side, the actual blade side. Leave the other side flat. I've done the other side as well. All nice and done. Now they can be bolted down. But first I'm going to go and turn off the Jenny because I'm wasting a lot of petrol for nothing now. Right. You have two washers holding these on. These big ones are dished. I feel that's dished inwards there. So that inward dish part sits against the blade. So it acts a bit like a spring when you tighten it down. That's then pushing around at the biggest possible area, and it also stops it coming undone. You then have a small washer goes over the top of that. This is spread the press from this onto the bigger one. And then you do her up. Now for some reason, I'm not sure why, this new kit comes with two different bolts. I don't know which one's supposed to be for which side at all, because this, as it was, had two bolts just like that in it. Yeah, there it is. I'm not quite sure what the idea of a separate bolt is. Unless that's a left-hand thread bolt. And if it is, it ain't going to fit in there because these are both right-hand. Perhaps got a different fitment. Yep, just checked. That is a left-hand thread. Yeah, both of these take a right-hand threaded bolt, so I'm just reusing the best of the old ones on the other side. Not a problem. Got a spare left-hand threaded bolt there. Right, I'm going to tighten these up using the impact. It's a far easier way of doing these things. Otherwise, what you've got to do is, as I said before, either lock with a piece of wood in here or over here, whichever way you want to do it. Lock it up, or you can find somewhere locking the pulley the other side. But normally the easiest way is a bit of wood, as I say, just jammed in here, stop it moving while you tighten it down. But if you use an impact gun, then you don't need to do that. You can just tighten them straight up, no problem. Well, it's official. I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, I don't believe this. It's one of those days today, I tell you. This thing here, oh, you'll see, it's up in the air at the moment. I've just been reviewing the footage from earlier. And I thought, oh, shit. Why did I do that? These blades, I put them on upside down. I know what it was. I put it down on there like that initially so I could film the fact that to show where they've been sharpened. Quite ropily. I forgot to flip them back over again before I tightened them down. And it wasn't until I was checking the footage and I realised that I'd put them on up the wrong way and left them. I go, what a fucking muppet. Right, so I'm just going to change that over now. And then back to the rest of the video for you. Oh, nearly forgot. Once you've bolted those up, make sure everything still moves nice and easily. Nothing's binding anywhere and you haven't done anything wrong before you put it back underneath. Right, now what I've got to do is get down on the floor, line this up. It's sitting on two pieces of wood again like it was before, just to keep it from just scratching itself the crap all over the floor or damaging anything. So I'm going to have to line it up, and then the first thing I should do is put the rear hangers into their holes. Just slip them through the hole they came out of. Put a washer on the other side of it and slip your R-clips back in. Washers and R-clips from before. You should have two washers as well that go with the nut on the front one, which we're not doing yet, just the rear ones. Right, the first two are in and clipped up. Third one I've just put in now, where my hand is. And then next thing I do, move this round so I can get it in there, and then go and do the other front one as well for tightening those down. don't forget, excuse me, once these hooked ones are in, you put a washer on the back side of it and then put your R-clip through. And with these front ones, they have a washer that goes either side of this bracket. So one washer on before you put the bolt in and one after it, because it allows a whole lot to then swivel properly when it's adjusted. Right, see if we can see much of this. It's very dark around here. Oh, here we go, it's focused in on it. That bolt is now done up, so is the other one. That's hanging on all 5 connectors. The 2 hangers at the back, one similar hanger at the front on the other side, and the 2 bolting arms. So now all I've got to do is put the drive belt back on for the cutting blades. And when I've done that, I've also got to put the mulching flap on the other side, the side discharge, which is not a mulching one. I've got a mulching one for it as well, which just covers it up completely, so everything stays underneath and gets chopped up and dropped. Yeah, not very good when you've got as many acres as we got here. It just jams up all the time. Right, so let's get this belt back on. Right, that's the belt back on. If you put the belt back on over your far side pulley first, then hook it round the front pulley on the engine and pull the belt round so it's behind, maybe you can see it's round behind the tensioning pulley. You can then bring it up round near to this side pulley. Then you have to use one hand to push on the tensioning pulley to take the tension off the belt slightly, so you can then hook it over this. Yeah, it's actually a pretty easy one to put on, thankfully. Right, that's that all done. All ready to fire up. Oh, well, once I put the cover back on the other side. Ugh. Yep, this cover needs to go back in. All I've got to do is take this through bolt out, holds it in, put it down here, set the spring here against the metal so it tensions, and then slide it through. And if I made that sound easy, it's not, because you have to tension this spring end here. You have to get that tensioned up and then push the whole plastic thing down enough to get this bit of metal back through. Now what I've got to do is find a washer and split pin that's gone from off here. Oh, the split pin, I need a new one, thinking about it. The old one was knackered. I'll just go and find one of those. Well, I looked high and low, and guess what? Can't find any split pins, can't find any R-clips. I've got loads of the buggers here somewhere. Never mind, can't find them, so for now, the cable tie is doing the job temporarily. So every time in the next 10 years when I look at that, I think, oh, must replace that. Alright, that's it, we're all back together. Well, I've got to put the front back on, but that's just a case of sliding it back on there and clipping it down. Brilliant. Right, I'll test her in a second to make sure everything works. There we are, that's that all now done. Been out for a little run, tested the cutters, it's all working very nicely. Well, I say very nicely, apart from the, I think the ignition switch is a bit iffy. It's always something. Bloody thing wouldn't start. Start motor turning too slowly or not working. Yeah, bridge the starter, started immediately, or bridge the relay rather. So, looks like I might have to clean up the contacts in the ignition barrel. It shouldn't be the starter solenoid. Anyhow, enough of that. I'll see you again soon. The next time it'll be with the freeloader, when I finally have to face those bloody cables on that handbrake. See you then. Bye.